So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make some applesauce, and it's gonna be out of these apples because I noticed that they're starting to go bad, and they have a lot of blemishes and such. So because of that, we're gonna make some good applesauce out of them. Once we've chopped all of that up and removed the seeds as well, it's time to add the sugar. What I like to add is an unrefined sugar called Applesauce. And this adds up to at least 3/4 of a cup of sugar as a way to measure it, in case you don't want to use this specific sugar and want to use regular sugar or brown sugar. But for now, I'm going to use this. I cut 6 apples, so because of this, I'm going to use 3 of these. Now, regularly, you would just add the sugar into the pot and just start rendering it down. But because of the fact that this is incredibly hard, I have to cut it into small little pieces, as small as I can, and add it into a pot and add some boiling water into it in order to melt it down. And essentially this is all the water that you're going to need. That melts, I'm going to add in some citric acid, and I'm adding citric acid specifically because of the fact that we don't have any lemon juice or lemons right now. So I'm going to add this instead. So to measure the citric acid in terms of like 1 lemon is essentially 1/8 of a tablespoon. So it's essentially just 3/8 of a tablespoon, around half of a tablespoon. So as for the spices, essentially the way that I measure them is for 1 clove, it's for each 6 apples. And for the allspice, it's 2 allspice for each 6 apples, or 1 for each 3. And as for the cinnamon, it's 1 for each 2 apples. I'm just going to add 1 extra cinnamon stick because I like the cinnamon. Now, in order to grind up the allspice and the cloves, I'm going to add a tablespoon of salt. It's completely optional, but I usually do this in order to amplify the sweetness of the apples as well. It just kind of tastes nice. Okay, so now that you put this on the pot, you're going to put this on medium-high, and you're essentially going to cook it until everything is nice and soft. But before you do that, you also add in some vanilla extract. This one, you measure with your heart. Once it's done cooking, it should look about like this. Then you're going to want to blend it until it's a nice consistency.
I have 10 minutes. Then I'm back on the phone.
After blending, it should look like this. And it's completely optional, but you could add a little bit more water into here to get the rest of the sauce out. But I say it's optional because that would mean that you would have to cook it for a little bit longer in order to cook the water out of the sauce. But at this point, you can eat it just as is. At this point, once it starts to bubble, you want to constantly stir it as to not have it stick to the bottom, and so that way it doesn't burn. So yeah, I can't stress enough, you're going to want to constantly stir this because 1 drop of this on your skin will fuck your shit up. And just like that, it should be done. Now it's completely up to you if you want to eat it like this, or you could turn it into some fruit leather by just dehydrating it on some parchment paper or the silicone mats that I mentioned before. But other than that, that's how you can make my applesauce.